this, everybody agrees that education is, say, number 2 or 3 on voters' priority lists going forward, but it is not number 1. And I have yet to find the survey that points to people who will actually cast their votes based on a candidate's education stance. So what's going on here? Is it, I have a theory that part of it is that the money that's involved, particularly when it comes to early childhood education, it's so hard that, the rate of return is hard to quantify, and sometimes it happens so much later. People, maybe it's just an expediency thing. I can't figure it out, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on why this has not risen to the very top.
Yeah. My view, and there's a couple of big factors in my view that drive this, and solving this problem that you're identifying is a even more challenging problem to solve than what are some of the policies we need. The policy issues are very important, but there's some growing evidence and consensus around that. We haven't solved the problem you've identified, but I've got sort of 2 hypotheses about that. One is, I think some data support. One is 80% of Americans think education is in crisis in this country, and rate our schools very poorly. In fact, there was a new NBC poll out last week showing that more voters said that low-quality education was the threat to our future than anything else. But 80% of parents think that their local schools and local education is fine. And I think that obviously both cannot be true. I think there is often a sense that the issue is in someone else's family, and that's even true in many low-income communities where the schools or the opportunities are not that great, and there is often still a significant majority, at least, people think so. I think there's a sense there's a crisis out there, but it doesn't feel like people's own, so therefore I don't think it becomes as galvanizing as an issue. The second thing is that education, in the end, is more of a state and local issue. The federal government plays a very important role, and I think part of the issue in a decentralized country, but a national kind of consciousness, the role the president plays on the bully pulpit and on funding and on incentives matters a lot, but it feels more distant, and so I think that means it's even less likely to be an issue at the federal level, even though, again, I think what the federal government does is very important, even if it's the state level that makes the biggest difference. And then the last thing I'd say is that I think that it is